Hi, mystery writers. Welcome to Write a Killer Mystery, where we talk about making a good mystery great. My name is Zara Altair. I am a mystery writer and mystery writing course creator. So, welcome. And today I want to talk about Storyworld versus story. Um, you have one goal for your readers, and that's getting them to turn the page. And you do that with your story, not your backstory, not your vast knowledge of fill in the blank, not your setting, not your story world. All of those are elements that add dimension and verisimilitude to your story. But the story itself is what keeps readers reading. So you want to get your readers to care right from the start. You want your reader to care about your protagonist, and caring comes from understanding and empathy. So get into the story. Challenge your protagonist. Give them something to do, a problem to solve. Show your reader how your character responds to a given situation. So new authors may stumble introducing required story elements without getting to the story, and that slows readers down. So I wanted to share an experience I had with reading a story a couple of years ago. I began reading a suspenseful spy thriller, which I enjoyed that genre. So chapter 1 consisted of a finely detailed conversation, quote, introducing the main character in his everyday world, but without one iota of suspense. There was the character was talking, that was it. The chapter was filled with finely detailed descriptions of the setting, the protagonist's appearance, down to the actual buttons on his jacket, the tools he used, and a backstory about a family member. And I began to, because of the things that were presented in that first chapter, I began to wonder if this was a romance presented in the guise of a thriller. And if it had been billed that way as a romance, I wouldn't have started reading. I wouldn't have purchased the book. But I thought, okay, I'll give the author a break. Maybe the story starts in the next chapter, right? Nope. Chapter 2 presented the save the cat details of the protagonist caring for an ailing family member, and a long description of the protagonist's native talent built to professional standards. But still, okay, we've had chapter 1, we've had chapter 2, and still there's no story. So as a writer, I was curious. As a reader, I would have quit, all right? But as a writer, I was curious. When does the story start? I still hadn't found that suspenseful spy thriller. And finally, in chapter 3, a little bit of intrigue comes in. But as a reader, the author had already lost me. My curiosity drove me to find where the story started, but I had lost interest in the story. As a reader, I would have stopped reading. So in the first few pages of your novel, you need to get your reader into the story. And I'm certain that the author of the spy thriller believed she had met story essentials. by portraying the protagonist in their everyday world, um, showing that he was empathetic to his family members and other people around him, and illustrating his unique talent. But in doing so, she left the story behind. So you don't want to make that mistake. Um, Writers need to find a balance between accounting, like telling this and that, and the buttons on the coat and all that sort of thing, and the initial intrigue that makes the reader wonder what will happen next. That's how you get your reader into the story. You want to create questions. You want to make them wonder what's going to happen now. How's this character going to deal with whatever the situation is? Um, Readers want a sense that this is only the beginning. Is it going to get worse? You want to like, oh, whoa, what's going to happen next? You want to keep them turning those pages. So, start the story. At the start of the story, you can reassure readers that the story you promised, in this case a suspenseful spy thriller, feels like the genre they want. And it gets your protagonist into action right away. There's plenty of time for descriptions and setting descriptions and backstory, but first you want to get that reader into your story because that's what keeps them reading for more. So let your reader experience that story world through the character's eyes. How does the character respond to the setting, the other people, the predicament, whatever it is you're starting your story with? So rather than giving them information, help the reader experience the story through the character's responses and actions, and create those questions in your reader's mind. It's like, what's going to happen in this story? Because you have that entire novel to drip that information. But the first thing you want to do is get your reader into the story, get them involved with the character, give your character a predicament. It doesn't have to be the main predicament of the story. It's just showing your reader how your character responds to a challenge, because bigger challenges are coming down the road. Okay, that's it for today. I hope this helps. Save the exposition for much later in the story. Start your story. Plunge into that story. Get it going. Get your readers interested. Get them asking questions. Get them wanting more. All right. If you like this, please subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you'll know then when the next episode of Write a Killer Mystery is here. And in the meantime, keep writing.